I do. Alright everyone, let's get into the fake news of the day. So probably the most important news story of the day is this right here. Fire breaking out on the 50th floor of Trump Tower in New York City. This happened just a couple hours ago. Remember, I see a lot of people getting confused by this. There was another fire on Trump Tower just a few months ago. So this makes the second one now in just a matter of months. And originally this was called in as a 2-alarm blaze, and it quickly grew to a 3-alarm blaze. And this, again, started just a couple hours ago, but luckily, just a few minutes ago, Donald Trump tweeted that the fire at Trump Tower is out, and then he thanked all the firemen and women for doing a great job. So, hey guys, 3-alarm fire, Trump Tower on today, given all the circumstances going on, not a coincidence. So hey, this shadow civil war is truly getting hot, and we have a few more examples of that. This next article about another helicopter crashing, this one yesterday in Fort Campbell in Tennessee, and 2 soldiers were killed when this Army Apache helicopter went down. So, hey guys, this makes for, what, I think the count is up to 5 crashes of jets and helicopters just over the past few weeks. I mean, honestly, how can you not look at all of this? And I believe one of the Q posts recently, he said it's statistically impossible for this to all just be a coincidence. And keep this in mind, these examples of Trump Tower being on fire, even remember Hillary Clinton's house being on fire, all of these craft, helicopters, planes going down and whatnot, these are pieces of evidence that we can use to put out there into the public domain and try to help wake people up to all this stuff going on. It's becoming irrefutable. We're going to go a little bit more global for these next couple of articles. This one, news out of Iran. So Iran hit by a global cyber attack that yet left the US flag on screens. Iranian IT ministry said on Saturday that hackers have attacked networks in a number of countries, including data centers in Iran, where they left the image of US flag on screens along with a warning, don't mess with our elections. Hey Q, is this you? Is this you guys? I mean, didn't Q say Iran was one of the next ones in line to be swept up? Cheeky, cheeky. Now we're moving from Iran over to Germany. And I'm sure you've heard of this one, but check it out. A van crashed into a crowd in Germany, killing 2, injuring 20, and police say the driver killed himself. If this doesn't set the false flag alarms off in your intuition, then you need to do more education as to current events. And I was just talking about MKUltra last week in saying that these patsies can be mind controlled with different layers of programming. And in this one, what I see is some kind of killer programming, Delta level, being ingrained into this guy to carry out this mission or this operation. And number 2, the self-destruct program, killing himself. I mean, how many instances do we see of people ramming their cars or carrying out shootings or just weird events, and then they go and just kill themselves? So I am really curious as to what's really going on behind this event. Now moving from Germany over to the Vatican. So look at this. Vatican's former top diplomat in US is arrested over child pornography allegations. So the US State Department identified a man by the name of Carlo Capella. And Carlo Capella was detained by Holy See Security on Saturday because the US State Department said that he was possibly violating child pornography laws. This guy is still in detention and there's more investigations going on. But honestly, does this one really surprise you? And funny enough, as Q has been telling us, watch the news. Lots of stuff going on in regards to Iran and in regards to the Vatican now. And of course, this lines up greatly with, over the past few days, Q dropping a lot of stuff in regards to Vatican connections to the CIA and to the Rothschilds and to many of these deep state groups. So, great, fantastic. I'm more than happy to see the corruption at the Vatican begin to get exposed, continue to get exposed. Now bringing it back to the homeland in the US, US seizes Backpage.com, a site accused of enabling prostitution. Even the New York Times forced to report on this one. Federal authorities have taken down Backpage.com, a major classified advertising website that has been repeatedly accused of enabling prostitution and sex trafficking of miners. So on Friday afternoon, the FBI seized the website and they even raided the Sedona home of the founder of Backpage, Michael Lacey. And hilariously enough, right here, Senator John McCain said the seizure of the site was an important step forward in the fight against human trafficking. I'm sure that guy right there, John McCain, is scared shitless right now based on what's going on to combat human trafficking. But truly, this is a great step forward. And now I want to share with you a hilarious quote from the Filipino president, Rodrigo Duterte. Duterte, is that how you say it? Anyway, check it out. If my plane explodes, ask the CIA, he says after requesting arms from Russia and China. So Russia and China have been giving the Filipino president some arms and support to combat ISIS and combat terrorism. And he tells a group of people, there's no military alliance, there's not any kind of backdoor stuff going on between Russia, China, the Philippines, and whatnot. But then he says, at least if ever my plane explodes or if some roadside bomb explodes, maybe you can ask the CIA. Ha! Don't you love it? And now to the last few things that I want to share with you guys. This one, Politico, an article they put out yesterday saying space war is coming and the US is not ready, with the subheadline saying we are now approaching a point where Star Wars is not just a movie, one government advisor warns. And of course, I mean, on one hand, they're normalizing the idea of us venturing into space a little easier, so yeah, you can view it positively like that. But on the other hand, if you really understand military hardware, the technologies and capabilities that they actually have, the US is not ready for space war. I mean, doesn't the Air Force have quite a bit of space technology that we aren't exactly told about? Not only the Air Force, but of course CIA and naval programs as well. So hey, this is a crucial discernment lesson here in the mis and disinformation that the powers that be are going to start putting out to us in space, especially being a large front of that. And that, of course, they're not going to tell us about how long they've had these technologies, how much money's been funneled in these programs to build it out, but they're going to start bringing these ideas of, oh, a space war, oh, a domain in space that we need to prepare for and secure down, and you understand? All right, on to the next one. Another holistic doctor found dead. And I'll link this article down below. Of course, Erin Elizabeth has been a great source that's been tracking all of these mysterious holistic doctor deaths. 87th now is, at least her count, over the past few years, 87 mysterious holistic doctor deaths. But authorities are not stating whether this was a homicide or suicide in this case. And this man, his name was Dr. Norman Cotton Jr., who lived in Michigan. He was only 54. Apparently, he was found burned in a vehicle in Pontiac, Michigan on Monday. And an ID, credit cards, and a money clip with a few dollars were found in his back pocket. I don't know, guys. This guy being found literally burned alive in his car. And as Erin Elizabeth points out in this article, he was the sole breadwinner and a family man, essentially left the house to set himself on fire without warning. Again, makes no sense. And I absolutely hope for the safety of holistic doctors practicing out there trying to make a real difference in people's lives with natural medicine, because it is a dangerous game on all fronts. Holistic doctors, white hats behind the scenes, alternative physics researchers. Honestly, keep yourself safe, guys. Now out of National Geographic, and interesting disclosure here that they're putting out into the public domain. Massive ancient drawings found in the Peruvian desert. This article just coming out a couple of days ago on April 5th. And armed with satellites and drones, archaeologists discover new Nazca lines. So if you're familiar with Nazca, Peru, there's been Nazca lines, giant hieroglyphics, if you will, giant symbols that's been etched into the ground there. And these things are like huge, not just like your average crop circle that might be a couple hundred meters or whatnot, but these things are massive on huge hillsides. And there's been some found before, but now they've found new ones. More than 50 massive ancient drawings that they're considering new discoveries. And just look at the view of them from the sky and even in space. I mean, these are massive symbols. So it really begs the question, what are these for? And in the article here, it's just saying, oh, they were used for ritual purposes and whatnot. And yeah, possibly, but I think it goes far deeper and goes into concepts that are seldom talked about, of course, in mainstream media, things that they don't want to bring into the picture, because that then explains a little bit more so about who we are and where we come from. So I'm thinking, were these some kind of art made for extraterrestrials that these primitive peoples viewed as gods? Was it, were these designs assisted by other civilizations or whatnot? Or were they even creations of other civilizations? Of course, so we have crop circles being done now. These could have been designs imprinted onto the earth millennia ago. So maybe these aren't even human. Maybe, there's so many factors that we need to be taking into account here for actual objective analysis of this. And then lastly, but not least, if you're familiar with Thrive, the documentary, one of my favorite documentaries ever. I watched it all the way back in 2011, 2012, and it blew my mind. It's a great documentary that was made by Foster Gamble. He's announcing that Thrive 2 is now coming out, and it'll be out a little bit later this year, but I'm extremely excited to see what this movie is going to be out and how it will delve into these topics a little bit more so, because the original Thrive was just a great big picture film that tackles almost everything. It's long. It's like a 2+ hour documentary, but I absolutely would say it's pivotal for anybody going through any stage of their awakening experience. And Thrive 2 will also, I'm sure, be another essential one. So it'll be two great movies when this one comes out to have everybody reference, to send people to get them caught up to speed as to what's going on. And that's all for this one, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm out. I got some more stuff to work on. You'll be hearing from me very soon. Peace.